but I know you can't wait to talk about this, Drew.
Okay.
See, in the news, certain things are taking place here. In the news that people ought to be paying attention to.
Right.
And the recent firing of Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Right? That's another issue that may have taken people by surprise. I mean, you wake up one morning, I mean, it was all good just a week ago. Like we say back in, in the urban culture, things was all good just a week ago. And now it's all
Right.
chaotic. So I was thinking about that, man. I mean, Don Lemon, in particularly Don Lemon, let's start with him. With him.
Well,
It's up 20 something years to the network or to journalism. 27 years, I think he said.
so they say.
So
Yeah,
yeah, well, this I'm
he's
just
been around a while.
but
Yeah.
to wake up one morning and go to work and say, hey, we don't need you no more. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Don Lemon, what can I really say about Don Lemon?
Mhm.
He's interesting guy.
Yeah,
I know that people saw him as a sellout, right?
yeah. Hmm.
They
They
did
did.
label.
I don't know why, but anyway, but go ahead.
He's a homosexual,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Married homosexual. Okay. Um, had a lot to say about things. My take on Don Lemon is like, he's what happened was it looked like he had said something about a couple of well, a lady that was on his show telling her that she didn't have, value in the way of um someone at a high level man would want. So a high level man would not want her,
So
you
wait,
know.
Don Lemon told that to a female.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Really?
So, and I mean, it could, hey, if she's up there in age and the high level man's looking to start a family, she can't have kids. He's not incorrect,
Right.
unless the dude doesn't want kids and she's cool, then that may work out. But it's not really a controversial statement. I don't care what people say. It's not a controversial statement at all. It's just
Right.
stating an obvious thing, depending on what that high value man wants. If she doesn't fit that, then it's not going to go.
Right.
And because he mentioned, because we live in this cancel culture kind of day, because he mentioned that,
Yeah.
that, and she happened to be a lady, someone that people liked enough to go with it. Next thing you know, he tried to make it right, apologize, and do all that stuff because the network was on him. But I
Hmm.
guess that wasn't good enough. So eventually, over time, they got rid of him. Because I guess that whole situation didn't work out the way that they wanted to, or somebody wasn't happy that he was still going.
So wait a
So
minute.
they,
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're
yeah,
saying they've gotten rid of him because of what he's done in the past, or something?
yeah,
Because
yeah. He
I
I
mean,
think it was, I forgot how long ago it was. It might have been months ago or something like that. But yeah, it was,
who knows? Who knows why they got rid of him? It could be
yeah,
a bunch
it
of.
could be a number of things, but
When I think
that's
of when
kind
I
of
think
what
of
they're trying
Don
to tell
Lemon,
you right now.
outside of his personal life, because I don't like to just look at people's personal life and say
Mm-hmm.
that defines them. Um, he was a journalist or is
Uh-huh.
a journalist. Uh, Me personally, before he came out, I remember him coming out openly
Mm-hmm.
about him being gay.
Yeah,
Uh, may not be, it's not my preference, but
right.
I'm not criticizing that person but for his ability in journalism. I think he was a pretty doggone neat journalist.
Mm-hmm.
He was, even though on topics that I may not have agreed with, right? And Don Lemon
Right.
would speak on them, and sometimes he can get passionate about it. And I don't think that he ever misrepresented himself, um, or made himself seem as though he was inept in any way, or that he did not have a lot of knowledge on the topic. So I'm gonna leave it like that with him. That's my extent with Don Lemon. I think that it was distasteful for them to go ahead and just fire the man, unless that's publicly what we know. unless there's been warnings or about his character or about some of the things that he may have been doing or the environment he may have been creating for coworkers.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that he did create a hostile environment or whatever, one that's hard to work in for other coworkers. I don't know. See, we're not privy to that information. But if that was the case, then that's something different. If he has been causing kind of problems uh, in the workplace, making the environment, complicated for other people to work on. There's no special, amenities for just because you are homosexual. There's no special, nothing special should be done for that. You're a
Mhm.
human being like anybody else. Now, this is just me just throwing that out there for conversation's sake because I don't know. I don't know what that environment was like, but I thought he was a pretty decent, a pretty good, well-spoken journalist. Um, Outside of him crossing paths with someone at the network who didn't agree with him and had powers and pulled strings and got him fired because these things do happen. Let's not act as like it don't. Let's not act like like people who don't approve of you in one way or another. If they have power, they can't disconnect you from their particular environment. They can, and they have, and they will. So other than that, man, I think Don Lemon, he'll be okay. He should have millions tucked away, if not still coming to him. So
Yeah.
I don't see him being let go uh that hard of a situation. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I did want to acknowledge it and kind of talk about it, get your perspective about it because it's in the news. It's a topic. There's several different things have been said about possibly why, but we don't know. This is the opinion of the real man movement here. This is all we're doing. We're giving an opinion about what has been publicly put out for us to examine.
Well, what they're saying publicly is, let me read this real quick. On April 24th, 2023, Lemon was fired by CNN. His contract would have expired in 2026. According to the New York Times, CNN had experienced difficulty in booking guests willing to appear on the air with Lemon, and the polls had shown his popularity among viewers had declined. Lemon said that the firing came as a surprise and the network had failed to inform him in person, which CNN denied.
Mm. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That sound like I mean, let me just tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like a statement that the network has to make because it didn't say anything that he did flagrantly other than what you just read. You're saying that guests didn't want to do interviews with him.
Here's something else, Tank. On February 19th, 2023, after Nikki Haley called for a mandatory mental competency test for politicians over 75 years old, Lemon said, "This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think that it's wrong to go down the road." Before continuing, she says, "People, politicians or something, are in their are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry, a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s." His remarks were criticized online as sexist. Lemon later on apologized and did not appear on CNN this morning on February 20th. He returned on February 22nd. Um, Let me see. Alleging that Lemon had a history of misogynistic behavior towards his colleagues, including Soledad O'Brien, Kyra Phillips, and Nancy Grace, dating back to 2008. This reportedly included questioning whether O'Brien was Black, threatening Phillips, and mocking Grace. Spokesperson for Lemon denied the allegation, saying the story, which is riddled with uh, patently false and accusations and no concrete evidence, is entirely based on unsourced, unsubstantial 15-year-old anonymous gossip.
That sounds
Okay.
that sound like a bowl of mess to me, man.
So I'm going to tell you what happened because he was also in the Jesse Smollett hoax, and he actually
Oh,
did
that's
he
right.
did
That's right.
he didn't get the information correctly. They didn't go after him after that. Like, yeah, it was like, all right,
Stand
but
behind it. He tried to stand behind him, but didn't have
right,
information. Yeah.
right, and but nobody went after him, and Jesse Smollett, oh boy, but it seemed like this lady situation when he had her on the show,
Mm.
she didn't like that comment and called him sexist
Well, she
and
called him a
misogynistic.
misogynist. I don't see that. But
Yeah, he's like, you're not. She said, I'm in the prime of my day. And he said, no, 20s, 30s, 40s, usually 40s, maybe you might still be in the prime of your day, but it's not correct. Like I said, it's just that was the facts of what it is,
right, right. Something.
and
I mean, something that crass. With
then after that, then all the female coworker anchors said, he said something to me in 2008, but it wasn't confirmed. So it looks like that was the issue. Then to back it up, they threw a bunch of things on whether they're proven or not to add on more fuel to that fire, and then
yeah,
that's that,
yeah. So
right?
that's with Don Lemon now. Now
Yeah.
let's talk about Tucker Carlson though, because
Tucker Carlson.
another situation. Now, this is a person who's been. I mean, Roland Martin. Shout out to Roland Martin and Roland Martin Unfiltered. Uh, Roland Martin really gives it to him about Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, they
Yes, I'm
fight.
not really a Tucker Carlson fan as well. Neither. I'm not. These people seem to be. I'm gonna say Tucker. They're inflammatory to racial conditions. A lot of times now.
Right.
Not the greatest fan of of people who play the party game. And what I mean
Right.
when you play the party game, you tend not to want to tell the truth. You got to just call it for what it is. That doesn't make a difference.
That's
Um,
that's true.
so I was actually shocked that they let him go. And then on top of that, I'm hearing now these are rumors, and maybe that's why I'm asking the Black Columbo, my man Drew. After they let him go, right? After
Right.
Tucker go, Russia was trying to get him and offered him a deal with them. Now I read that was somewhere. I don't know how true that is. Now I think that came across my news feed that he was offered uh, some type of position concerning journalism in Russia, or either in Russia or through some of the political doings and workings of Russia.
Really brief, they're saying that Carlson has stated that he does not consider Russia a serious threat to the United States. He has called the United States to work with Russia in
Uh,
the Syrian civil war.
No,
So
no.
it
Yeah,
seems like he
statement.
doesn't have a problem with Russia.
He getting ready to do so. He getting ready to do something. I'm telling you. See, when a statement like that, when you understand how America is really put together, and concerning Russia, Russia has always been, you know, uh, 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 a place of competitiveness militarily with the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go over to Russia and support that particular side to me. And by saying that they're not a threat, what do you mean they're not a threat? Yes, they are. Ask Ukraine if they're a threat. They weren't. You see, in so many years they were saying that they weren't a threat to Ukraine until they wanted to take it over. I mean, that's just facts. And that's what
That's true.
people don't have a military mind to think, with. I had some clown on I think he was on a Twitter space, man. Boy, I probably never get back on a Twitter space in my life because that's something I've never heard so much silliness, bro. By people who just made themselves an authority. I mean, I had a fool sit there and tell me he can disarm a bomb. I'm like, what? Man, you can't. I mean, he's telling people this and having them believe it. But soon as I start to ask him questions, he want to mute me out. Like, wait a minute, brother. You telling me you can disarm a bomb right now? No, you can't. There's too many levels involved with disarming any type of explosive. Too many steps. So that's not true. But people tend to say what they want to say, and people tend to follow it, and it's the Jerry Springer effect, you know. So Tucker kind of is like that to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Tucker's kind of like that. There's some things I can't agree with them on. It's just the angle. When you take a stance, I can believe in taking a stance, but then that you have to watch the angle you lean toward. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A stance on something, and you lean more towards an angle that's going to cause more division than bring understanding. So that's kind of how I feel about Tucker pretty much.
What they're saying, Tank, is Carlson's stunning departure is reportedly connected to a lawsuit filed by his former senior booking producer, Abby Grossberg, who claimed she faced sexism and a hostile work environment.
Uh-oh.
Fox News said in an official statement that Carlson and the network had mutually agreed to separate.
Wow.
On Monday, Fox immediately replaced.
That pinching butts. He was over there pinching butts.
That's what they say. Yeah, on Monday, Fox News immediately replaced Carlson's slot with a rotating roster of hosts until a permanent replacement can be found. The network said in a video on Wednesday, Carlson implied his fans had not seen the last of him. Where can you find Americans saying true things, he said. There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
Oh, see you soon. Is he going to Russia? Is he going to Russia? Because America, look, the precedence has been set in America. You cannot say certain things. It's not no turning to. You can't say certain things. Look, even on YouTube, the video we on now, we can't. We have to say certain things a different way, so that it won't get flagged or it won't. So that the video can't even be played in rotation. So, yeah, you can't say what you want to say in America anymore. No.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Now, Don Lemon got removed because he made a comment about a lady and she didn't like it, right? She got mad. Now he's gone, right? Tucker Carlson is accused of some sort of sexual misconduct. And now he's gone.
Yeah.
And they both get it the same day. So what I'm going to say is, off what I'm reading in my 2 cents of things, I personally think, and I could be wrong, but I personally think that I don't think these guys did anything to warrant this. And I don't think Tucker Carlson, I don't think he actually did what they're trying to say that he did. I think that they were looking at a way to get rid of him because he was supportive of gun laws. He was supportive of a lot of things. I think that they were looking at a way to get both of these guys out. And it's just not coincidental that both of them get released the same day at the same time with almost similar floating charges, which would be they did something to make a lady upset.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't, they're going to try to use their contact with them in a way to portray them as something that they're probably not.
Yeah.
Which has been done before through people, but it's a bigger thing. If you go against certain grains, which surprises me with Don Lemon because he's an actual homosexual man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who gives a care what he has to say about ladies, right?
True.
But
yeah,
guess what? That feminist movement, that nasty woman vulva hat wearing movement is a power force.
Let's call it for what it is, man. Yeah. It's the feminist movement.
Yeah.
Let's say the toxic feminist
movement. Yeah.
Is that taking over America? Because the muzzle has been, you can't tell me that the muzzle has not been put on America. You cannot
No.
say, and this is what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Freedom isn't free. That has to be fought for. I fought for that.
That's
But
right.
we have a constitution where we have freedom of speech, right? We don't have the right to incite riot. I love the way that Judge Joe Brown puts this. And shout out to Judge Joe Brown and Dana, the real Dana. Go check them out. Judge Joe Brown and Dana with the data. Judge always kind of talks about that, you know. Here's the thing about information. A lot of times information gets put out and it gets put out real quickly and you miss the detail. So the most important piece of information is your first piece of information that you get. And if the first
Correct.
piece of information is tainted and is incomplete, normally you formed your opinion around that first piece of information if you're not careful. If you're not
Hmm.
careful to be observant and say, let me wait a minute. This is what it looks like. I can't tell right now, but this is what it looks like. It looks like the feminist movement is starting to shut down or shut the mouths of people who just want to tell truth.
Right.
What do you mean? I can't say my truth anymore about how this make me feel or what I'm seeing. I can't give my opinion about anything anymore. I mean, without
That's
someone coming and saying I'm not saying it the way that they want me to say it. Is that what we fought for? See what this feminist movement got to understand is that listen, you there's people who fought for this country, really did, and still deal with battle scars mentally and physically. And
yeah.
you're telling them to shut up. You're telling them their voice don't need to be heard. Let the feminist voice be heard more clearly and more soundly. Let's shut up the voice of masculinity. We don't need masculinity, but but if this country has to be protected, you're gonna be crying for masculinity. You're gonna be crying for real men who can go out there and really protect America. Men and women.
Absolutely.
You're gonna be crying for them. Because guess what? As much talk as they're doing, they don't want to be on the front lines. No. You can't get your nails done on the front lines. You can't get your toes done on the front lines. You can't get your hair done. You can't get your makeup. You can't do all this. You can't put on a dress. You can't put on a slip and all this stuff on the front lines. See, that's the reality check that America needs. Stop supporting these platforms that produce foolishness.